What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm making my NFL Week 3 pick, so let's hop into it. And if you like these videos and want to support the channel, please consider subscribing. We are almost at 2,000 subscribers, so every subscriber counts. But anyway, last week my record was 10-6 picking NFL games, so a step down from Week 1, and that brings my overall record to 21-11, which I don't think is too bad. But without further delay, let's just hop straight into the picks. And on Thursday Night Football, we have an AFC East matchup. We have the New England Patriots on the road at the New York Jets. And both of these teams coming in with a 1-1 record. And to be honest with y'all, the Patriots have impressed me a lot more than the Jets have this year. The Jets kind of barely got by the Titans last week. The Patriots, on the other hand, took Seattle to overtime, almost beat them, but they just fell short. So I do have the Patriots winning on the road against the Aaron Rodgers-led Jets by a final score of 23-20. And this game could really go either way. It's a divisional matchup. But to me, the Patriots just seem a little bit more competitive early in the season compared to the Jets. So that's why I'm giving them the edge in this matchup. So moving on over to our Sunday slate of games. Our first game is the New York Giants on the road at the Cleveland Browns. The Giants lost last week to the Commanders, and the Commanders only kicked field goals, which is kind of funny because that's the second week in a row that teams have won by only kicking field goals. The Browns, on the other hand, did go into Jacksonville and beat the Jaguars. So these two teams are kind of trending in opposite directions. The Giants 0-2, the Browns got into the win column. So the Browns are on the up and up. And I do have the Browns winning this game against the Giants by a final score of 24-13. And the only thing that could really derail the Browns in this game is their penalties. They've taken over double-digit penalties in both games so far, so they definitely have to clean that up. Deshaun Watson obviously has to not turn the ball over and play a clean game. But I do have the Browns winning their first game at home this season. Then we have the Los Angeles Chargers on the road at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Both of these teams are coming in. Neither have lost a game yet. And I do have the Chargers. I don't know if this is pulling off the upset on the road, but I do have the Chargers beating the Steelers, just edging them out by 1 point in a final score of 17-16. And the reason I have them winning is the Steelers' defense can't hold up forever. Yeah, they've been playing pretty good, holding teams to low scores, but that's not going to hold forever. A couple injuries could derail their defense. And the Chargers, they have an offense that can definitely push the Steelers' defense to the limit, and I feel the Steelers just dropped their first game of the season right here. And then moving on, we have the Houston Texans at the Minnesota Vikings. Both of these teams are 2-0. The Vikings are kind of one of those surprise teams. Nobody really thought with Sam Darnold that they were going to get off to a hot start. They beat the 49ers last week. The Texans, on the other hand, everybody was pretty high on them, so I don't think it's to anyone's real surprise that they're 2-0. But I have the Vikings winning this game. Once more, they knocked off the 49ers last week. Why can't they knock off the Texans this week? I do think it will be another close game, and I have them winning by a final score of 26-23. Then moving on, we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the New Orleans Saints. The Eagles lost on Monday Night Football to the Atlanta Falcons in a game that they pretty much just blew. Should have definitely won, but they just fell apart at the end. The Saints, on the other hand, coming off a huge win against the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. They pounded the Panthers in week 1, scored over 40 points, and everybody's like, yeah, it was the Panthers. Then they went into Dallas and hung over 40 points on the Cowboys. So this Saints team is definitely riding high. And with the Eagles just falling apart last week, I think the Saints just continue their wave of, I don't want to say dominating opponents because I don't think they're going to score 40 against the Eagles, but I didn't think they were going to score 40 against the Cowboys. So anything is possible, but I do have the Saints winning this game against the Eagles by a final score of 35-27. Then we have the Denver Broncos on the road against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Broncos, Bo Nix, rookie quarterback, is going through some of those rookie growing pains, so they're not off to a great start. They're 0-2. The Buccaneers, on the other hand, they're still 2-0. Baker Mayfield has the Buccaneers rolling, and I don't think the Broncos are going to pull off this win in Tampa Bay. So I do have the Buccaneers winning this game by a final score of 26-16. Then we have the Green Bay Packers at the Tennessee Titans. And I do have the Packers winning this game by a final score of 20-16. The Packers, without Jordan Love last week, I thought they were going to lose to the Colts, but they held on. The Colts really couldn't do much offensively, and the Packers overall looked pretty good as a team, even with Malik Willis as their quarterback. So I don't think things are going to change too much here against the Titans. Will Levis for them keeps shooting himself in the foot with just bad throws, bad turnovers, and the Titans can't seem to really get out of their own way. Definitely they could clean it up, but this Packers team, I think, goes on the road and gets this win against the Tennessee Titans. Then we have the Chicago Bears at the Indianapolis Colts, and this is an interesting game because I feel like these two teams are kind of on par with each other. Both have super young quarterbacks in Caleb Williams and Anthony Richardson. The Colts haven't won a game yet this year. The Bears, they put up a good fight against the Texans last week. They did lose. And I do have the Colts getting their first win of the year this week. I don't think they'll start the season 0-3. But if the Bears clean it up, Caleb Williams plays good football, they don't turn the ball over, there is a good chance the Bears could win. But as everything stands right now, I have the Colts winning a one-score game by a final score of 24-17. Then we have the Carolina Panthers on the road at the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders last week went into Baltimore and knocked off the Ravens, so they're coming off a huge upset win. Panthers, on the other hand, they lost once again to the Los Angeles Chargers in a game that wasn't really close at all. And the Panthers decided they were going to bench quarterback Bryce Young and make Andy Dalton the starting quarterback to just kind of shake things up, maybe get a spark on offense. And I do have the Raiders winning this game. I think it will be a lot closer for the Panthers, as Andy Dalton, he's a veteran quarterback. I don't think he's going to let this game get too far away from him. But I do have the Raiders winning by a final score of 21-14. Then moving on, we have the Dolphins at the Seattle Seahawks. And the Dolphins will be without Tua at quarterback. They did sign Tyler Huntley from the Ravens, so I don't think he's going to get the start. It'll probably be Skylar Thompson. The Seahawks coming off a win in overtime against the Patriots last week. So this is their second AFC East opponent in a row. And with no Tua on this Dolphins offense, they couldn't really get anything done against the Bills. So I don't think they're really going to get anything done against the Seahawks, but I do think it will be close just because the Dolphins have a pretty talented team overall. But I do have the Seahawks winning at home by a final score of 28-24. Then we have the Baltimore Ravens at the Dallas Cowboys. Both of these teams coming off losses. Both of the losses kind of embarrassing in their own way. The Ravens losing their home opener against the Raiders, a team that they feel they should have beat. Everybody, I think, feels like they should have beat the Raiders. Cowboys, on the other hand, got absolutely smoked by the Saints last week. So one of these teams is going to get a rebound win, and I feel like that's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. I think the Ravens are going to start the season off 0-3, and the Cowboys are just going to sneak one out by a final score of 31-28. And the Ravens are definitely going to be looking for answers after this game. So then moving on, we have the Detroit Lions at the Arizona Cardinals. The Lions lost last week to the Buccaneers. The Cardinals, on the other hand, absolutely pounded the Rams. And the Cardinals are off to, honestly, a pretty good start. They are 1-1. They did blow that week 1 game against the Bills, but they still had the Bills on the road for a majority of that game. And Kyler Murray's playing good football. And I have the Cardinals getting the win at home against the Lions. I don't know if this is an upset or not, but I have them just beating the Lions, getting a statement win in Detroit by a final score of 28-26. Then we have an NFC West matchup. We have the San Francisco 49ers on the road at the Los Angeles Rams. Both of these teams lost last week. The Rams lost to the Cardinals. The 49ers lost to the Vikings. So one of these two teams is going to get back in that win column, and I do think it will be the San Francisco 49ers. They will be without running back Christian McCaffrey, but I don't think that's going to matter as they bounce back here and get the win by a final score of 27-23. So then moving on to our Sunday Night Football, we have the Kansas City Chiefs on the road against the Atlanta Falcons. Both of these teams won last week. The Chiefs were able to beat the Bengals. The Falcons were able to come from behind and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And I do have the Chiefs winning this game by a final score of 28-20, as I do feel the Falcons kind of got lucky last week in that Eagles defensive collapse. The Chiefs kind of, I don't want to say they got bailed out by the rest, because it was a good call there at the end. It definitely was pass interference, but still, I know a lot of people are on the fence about that. Like, all the refs can't let the NFL sweetheart team, the Chiefs, lose. But regardless, I think the Chiefs just take care of business straight up against the Falcons this week and get the win. Then moving on to our first of 2 Monday Night Football games, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Buffalo Bills. The Bills, they're starting 2-0. The Jaguars are 0-2. So the Bills looking to stay undefeated. The Jaguars looking to get their first win of the season, and I don't think that's going to come in Buffalo. Primetime game in Buffalo, tough environment to play in. The Bills take care of business at home and beat the Jaguars 34-24. And then our last game of the week, our second Monday Night Football game, we have the Washington Commanders on the road against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are 0-2, and I want to say this is like the second or third straight year they've started out the season 0-2. So I don't think there's too much cause for concern. And they almost beat the Chiefs last week, so I don't think Cincinnati, it's time to hit the panic button yet. The Commanders were able to win against the Giants last week by only kicking field goals. Sadly for them, that's not going to get the job done against Joe Burrow and this Bengals team, as I do have the Bengals winning this game by a final score of 30-13. So yeah, those are my NFL Week 3 picks. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Make sure you like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you with another picks video next week. Hope you all have a good day, and God bless.